I said, go to the book and look at the book. Analyze it from your particular form of knowledge that Allah gave you and look at it. It's a miracle from every point of view, wallah. Mu'jiza is a miracle of miracles. So, as a journalism, you see, I discovered this by accident. Most of these things I'm discovering by accident. But accidents are no accidents. Allah Bari Ta'ala is Musabbibul Asbab. He creates opportunities. If your eyes are open, somebody is speaking and he gives you a cue and you discover something. And somebody shows you something and you discover something. Because you are in the field. I live outside Durban, about 20 miles out. And every morning I was traveling at a road, in the road we call the beach road, like the Corniche, on the seaside, into Durban. Now they have a freeway, so I don't use that Corniche road anymore, the beach road anymore. I take the freeway because it's faster, quicker, no obstruction to get to my work. So on the old road, I remember very, very distinctly that at a certain intersection, there was a news vendor, early morning newspaper, and he had a placard. Every morning a new placard, trying to sell his newspaper. So while driving, I read the placard, and I make up my mind, the newspaper is not worth buying today. I don't want to buy the newspaper. According to the placard, what they're offering me, the news inside, I'm not interested. So I park my car in Durban, in the city. This is just on the outskirts of the city. In the city, I park my car, I take a walk to my office, and on the way, another intersection, I see the same newspaper seller, not the same man, but for the same newspaper, but there's a placard, it's different. I read the placard and I buy the paper. The same morning paper. The placard is different. Again it happens and again it happens. I don't want to buy and I buy. I don't want to buy and I buy. And I'm trying to think, why does it happen like that? I didn't want to buy and I bought. Why? So I said, yeah, right. I got the joke. The joke was that the place where at the intersection I'm talking about, on the Corniche, is a white area. Europeans, they live. So you are separated into races. And that placard is catering for white readership. They are trying to bait the white man to buy the paper. Placard that will appeal to him, the white man. It doesn't interest me. Talking about Zola Bud, one of our girl runners. I'm not interested in Zola Bud. So, says, man, she won, so what? Something else about some white, so Gary Player, he won $1 million for his God. So what? I'm not interested. But as soon as I come into town, the Indian area, see, we are separated into races. And the placard there, same morning paper, but the placard there is something that appeals to me, so I buy. The newspaper is the same, not two different newspapers. But within it, there are different articles, different subjects, different topics. So they are now fishing. For the whites, a different placard. For the Indians, different placard. For the Africans, different placard. For the coloreds, different placard. What the fish will bite. They know how to catch fish. So I said, right, that is the game. Why I'm getting caught out. I don't want it and I buy it. So the best journalist, the master journalist, is a journalist who can give you a placard that everybody will buy. Not 4 different placards. He writes articles, he writes about topics, and if he advertises that one placard, he says the Pakistani will buy, the Bangladeshi will buy, the Arab will buy, the American will buy, everybody buys. If you can have a journalist like that in the Khalij Times or in the Gulf News, the newspaper owners will never let the man go. You know that? Every day a placard which makes his paper everybody to buy is a master journalist. And Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is such a journalist. He's not him. He's a master journalist about the omnipotent, the omniscient, knowing his creation, knowing how to bait you, how to catch you, how to get people be attracted to his book. He's showing you. Our Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam is in Medina. He's surrounded by mushriks, his own people, mushriks. He's surrounded by munafiqs. He's surrounded by Muslims. He's surrounded by Jews. He's surrounded by Christians. 5 different groups of people. And you want to sell your newspaper. The idea, your proclamation. How do you catch fish like that? 5 different groups of people. Listen. He says, not he, Allah is, through him, using him as a mouthpiece. He says, وَهَلْ أَتَاكَ حَدِيثُ مُوسَى. Has the story of Moses reached you? Think. A proclamation. Has the story of Moses reached you? The Jew wants to know. When he hears that, وَهَلْ أَتَاكَ حَدِيثُ مُوسَى. What does he know about Musa? Watch, see how he makes a fool of himself. And the Christian, he says, look man, where is now dabbling into unknown ground now. And the mushrik, he said, we'll watch the fun now, what the Jews and the Christians do to him now. And the Muslim, hungry, he says, yes, we want to know, what about Musa? Everybody is agog. Everybody wants to know what? Say, Izra'a naran, when he saw a fire. Dramatization, visualization. You can visualize the scene. قال لأهلهم كسوا إني آنست نارا لعلي آتيكم منها بقبس أو أجد على النار هدى. He says, behold, he tells his family, I see a fire. And perhaps I'll get a burning brand from there or some guidance at the fire. Illusions, giving ideas. He's talking about fire. He's talking about guidance. Allah Bari Ta'ala is baiting him. He's actually baiting him because he's hungry for fire. He's hungry for guidance. You see, after the mishap in Egypt, when he had killed an Egyptian, in trying to defend a Jew, he slapped an Egyptian too hard and he was a mighty strong man, Hazrat Musa alayhi salam. He was no weakling. He gave this man a slap and the man fell and he died. And he had to flee from the country. He killed an Egyptian. Unforgivable crime. Here goes into Midian, and there he helps 2 girls in distress. They were trying to water their sheep and goats, and the other men folk were taking unfair advantage because of their weakness. And Hazrat Musa alayhi salam goes to the rescue, and he helps them to water their sheep and goats. They go and tell the father, says, there's a young man at the well, and he's a very young, very handsome fellow, and he's very good-hearted, and Dad, if you can have him with us, he'll be a great asset. So go and bring him. So they bring him, and Jethro, Shoaib, he makes a contract with Hazrat Musa alayhi salam. He says, look, my son, we need a hand, somebody to help us, and if you will stay with us, he said, look, you work for me for 7 years, and I'll give you my daughter in marriage, hands in marriage. You can have her as a wife. The bargain is struck, and he fulfills his 7 years, and he gets his wife, and maybe another 7 years, and he's got 250 children, or half a dozen children. Now he's getting bored. A man who lived in the city, in royalty, now he's now in the desert looking after sheep and goats. For 10 years, 14 years, he's bored. He wants to get out. So he tells his father-in-law, says, look, Daddy, I would like to go into the world and make way for myself. He said, look, my son, your wife is your wife, your children are your children, and here is your share of your sheep and goats. You are welcome to leave. So he goes into the Sinai. He's moving from one place to another, one oasis to another. And he supposedly runs out of meat. He's got those dry bread, what the Jews eat, mastos they call it, unleavened bread of the Jews, no yeast. And that remains. Even it's hard as rock, but it's there. You can chew and chew and chew. It won't rot in a hurry. He's got that, but he's thinking about slaughtering a sheep or a goat. Start a fire, braise it, dry it up and carry on. But now he's